Hi, everyone. Welcome to Business Done Different and all the magic that comes with it. We're so excited to have you guys here.
Yes. And you know what's so funny is that is actually business done different because you're like, okay, I've been oracling a class that is happening 5 hours ahead of me where I am in the middle of the night. And let me close the door so we don't get the kids coming in. And then I'm like, oopsie, we're already live. Sit down, can't go anywhere.
Exactly. That's my business done different.
You know what, Julia? It's really interesting because like I look at my career, like I've worked in so many different kind of places, small, large, I've started my own companies, like it would have back then not been appropriate at all to be on camera and not be ready, like just even that moment of like getting up and sitting down, there'd be so many judgments out there and realizing, I think the last few years opened the door for a lot of people because so many people didn't even know Zoom existed and bringing their businesses to a screen and
Oh my goodness.
also chilling out, like realizing, you know what, there is not a robot here. This is a person. And like truly that business done different of looking at not judging yourself for those moments, but have fun with it.
Totally. I have to tell this. There's this video. I don't know if you've seen it, Laleh, or if any of you out there watching have seen it, but there was this man at the beginning of COVID and everybody was on lockdown at home. And it was like BBC, like or something like a huge news thing. And this guy is like ready in his home office and he's nervous as all get out and he is ready to present on this huge international news. This little baby toddler comes in the door and the guy just keeps presenting like it's not a toddler right behind him. And then the mom swoops in, grabs the toddler out and he goes. And he was totally trying to play it cool and pretend it's not happening. But it was so heartening and sweet and just this like awesome thing. And so that just reminds me of what you're saying and just really getting out of the box and really having more fun with business and not doing business from the sort of stiff, difficult, effort-based way that so many of us were taught that business was, and that's what it encompassed.
Yeah. And the thing is that everyone watching, I wonder how many know that story. It went viral. It went hugely viral, So like people all around the world had access to it. I mean, I was in Portugal at the time and I watched it,
You did.
people were in America, UK and everywhere. And but I think what it also opened the door for is for us to start to look at, like what works for you. The whole employee employer, focus really shifted. And I know tonight, we want to talk about business done different. It's a specialty of Joy of Business with the tools of access consciousness. And and I look at this particular program of the business done different and like no matter how different you are, how much more is out there in terms of resources, tools, creativity that you haven't even considered yet.
I love that. That's so cool. Recently in Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access, has said, we're sending too many emails to people who are taking Access classes. We're going to change this. We're going to get sort of, I don't want to say back to basics, but he's like, let's let people know what's going on by phoning them. Let's make people reach for classes rather than sort of being spoon fed on autopilot, which is something that getting a lot of emails creates when you're getting like kind of like inundated, multiple emails per day or per week. And so what that's really created is just this really different way of doing business within the company of Access Consciousness. And like, I'm just, for me personally, I'll speak in my personal experience, and I know you love to connect to Laleh, but I think I've made like I don't know, hundreds of phone calls in the last 10 days, letting people know about the new systems and classes. And I have just, it has enriched my life and my world in ways that are just unbelievable. And Gary has always said, phone people, connect with people. And I did, but I didn't do it to this degree. And I think I withheld myself a little bit. And this has just dropped my barriers and just invited this whole new place of business done different and just this really amazing connection with people, which is what commerce originally is. I know that you know a lot about commerce. Maybe you'd love to talk about that, Lale. Like it's the back and forth. What is it? It's like the art of doing business. I forget the definition, but
Well, for me, when I think of commerce, I think of like the olden days when you had women who were washing their laundry and they were hanging it up, and that's the engagement they had with their neighbors, bringing them up to speed on what's going on, what's the latest thing that they purchased, they're using, cooking, whatever. But it was the social aspect that engaged the people together. And yes, rumors got started there too, so it was a little mix of everything, but it really was learning more about people and learning like, hey, I got this new thing. And then someone else being like, oh, I didn't know about this thing. Let me ask you more questions. And really becoming this conversation between people versus just a salesman who was knocking at the door, here's my product, you either buy it or you don't buy it. But it became this other engagement and interaction that creates, those molecules actually create different kinds of futures when you do have people engaging and, having conversation.
It's amazing. That's such a great way of describing it. And I so experienced that because I got so much valuable information about different things from people chatting this week. I'm calling somebody just to let them know about the email system changing, and we'll end up talking for an hour about, cooking and kids. And I learned about this amazing, very expensive best private school in Sydney, Australia, and like how those kids who graduate from that school become leaders and how they're learning languages at young ages, and just fascinating things, and things like health products that I'm going to start that I'm like really excited about, just stuff, and it's so much fun. And that is such a kinder way of doing business than, like you said, somebody knocking on your door and saying, buy this or don't buy this, please. It's so invigorating and really the way that business is supposed to be.
Well, and you're building a different level of support and trust with people too, that next time they have a question, they know, oh, I can contact Julia. Julia will know the information. And it's interesting, like my whole life, I've loved interaction so much more than anything else, like the chance to like have meetings, productive meetings, okay, not just meetings to have meetings, but like that moment of you're just even sitting having coffee or tea with someone and you really get to know more about them. And I used to call it really collaborative relationships, because it was this give and take. It wasn't really gift, it was like a gifting and receiving. Really
Yeah.
was, because it's like you're getting to know more about each other, even though there might be a product that you're there to sell them, but it really became more of finding out, is this even the right thing for them? Is this going to work? And at the other space of it is like, hey, it's a client. They already use our product. What ideas do they have? What ways would they like to see the product different? But it became more of like the influence as well as this, I would say, communion between individuals, that allows the businesses to actually grow even greater. And one thing I personally adore about Gary Douglas is that with him, he hates emails, has his whole life. And so for years, he's been trying to get us to like, use alternative ways. And he just had this awareness that we need to change the business. He didn't know how, he just knew we have to change it. And then he got the awareness, the emails need to stop immediately. And we're going to try it. And it also got people to engage. He got everyone involved to now be more creative of like, how do we get the information out there? There's information that people require. So what are new things we can create that don't even exist, where they'll have that as a place for information that they always can go to? But also, we will send one email. There is login details. There is this information that, you know what I mean? But it's his willingness to trust. He's aware of something, ask questions, execute on it, and then change it as necessary. Like, nope, we're not doing it. Okay, we might not do that, but we might do this.
Totally. And I love what you were saying too, like just going back to what you were saying about how like you're having coffee with a client or talking with somebody. It's like what I really noticed is like I think a lot of you out there, and I know you for sure, Laleh and me, like part of what I would like to create in the world is just a happier world, like a greater world, a world where we're more connected and have more of a connection to ourselves and each other. And so like that's my target. And one of the ways that we can really do that are those personal interactions. Now, it seems like really, really obvious and boring, but it's like in those interactions, like you give of yourself. Like you really give somebody else the gift of your being, and they'll receive it and give you the gift of their being. And like that's literally the way that I would like the world to be. And so it's like this is such a simple way to open up that world. It's just so amazing. So I just wanted to expand on that a little bit because I love what you said.
Totally. And I do want to talk about this Business Done Different class, because we have Simone Melis's. She's going to kick it off later on this coming week in France, as well as online. And, there's a lot of things that change in the world. The world changes, people change, business changes, the tools change. And with being a certified facilitator of this, I watch every year, multiple times, the manual for this class changes. And it's one of the funnest things for us as facilitators to facilitate, not only so that we can empower others with the tools, but how much it changes our lives, our businesses, our creativity. Each time I have a new product or service that gets kicked off, a new business idea. Like there's all these different things that come out of it, because that's consciousness. The more consciousness of like you add to something, the more it grows, it
Yeah.
expands. But it's not just for you. As it expands, as you choose, it's now available for others. So it really is this like gift that keeps gifting and gifting and gifting and gifting and gifting. And it
Totally.
doesn't matter how many times you've done this, like we were all reading it, a bunch of us facilitators, we got together, couple, like for 2 weeks, we were reading the manual over and over again and taking turns reading it. And I'm like, I just did this a month ago, and there's things in here that I'm like, I swear wasn't there a month ago. So like, even like I've had participants who've done it multiple times, and it's like where you are in life at that moment, your energy, who you're being, what's going on in your life and in your business really affect the questions you're going to ask, the things you're going to become aware of, what you get to learn from others and their ideas and their questions and what's not working for them, So it becomes really this empowering each other with the tools. And so I'd like to invite the whole world. There's no prerequisites for this class at all. You don't have to have your own business. You don't even have to have a business, because all of us have a business of our lives, no matter what, whether you work for a company or you don't, whether you're a stay-at-home parent or you're not, you still have the business of your life. So it really is available to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. And I just want to share one of my favorite tools from Business Done Different. And that is, do you love business or do you hate business? And I thought that I loved business. I was sure that I loved business because I was doing business. I've been in business for myself since I was 20. I've always done business. And what I realized through Joy of Business, and really Simone was the only one who could help me unlock this, or maybe it was the tools of Business Done Different. It just unlocked something so powerful in me where I just, in this class, I flipped the switch from not realizing that I hated business, but not succeeding in the way that I wanted to because of a hatred of business, to flipping the switch to loving business and having so much fun with it. It's like business used to be like, I have to do it. And now it's like, when can I wake up in the morning so I can start doing things, phoning people, creating things, you know, just like inventing things. And one of the things too that I think that really changed for me with business done different class is I love to cook and I love to be super domestic. Like I love cooking. I'm learning right now the art of floral arranging. So I like go to the store and I'm doing a master class series online. And I go to the store and get like 12 roses and some other different flowers. And then I go out to my backyard and we have these huge jasmine plants. So I go and cut down all this jasmine and I can make like 3 floral arrangements and like in different ways in different bowls, these like creations that are so beautiful and my house is just like alive. And
Mhm.
so with like cooking and making, like right now I'm really into making Thai food and like I'm going to like I've just found this specialty Asian store and I'm like getting all the original real Thai ingredients and the stuff that I'm making tastes better than like a Thai restaurant. Like it is so dynamic. So it's like that's like, oh, I love that stuff. And I used to really keep, I think one of the things that made me sad and made me not like business was because I thought I had to keep that part of me over here and keep the part of me, my business, my I'm an access consciousness facilitator, keep that separate. And now it's like through the business done different tools, I'm like, let's just let it all be together and stop separating it. And it's created so much fun. And now I'm throwing like a party next month, like an access consciousness evening soiree, it's called. And it's like it's combining my flower arranging, my bartending, my food. I'm going to make this incredible chocolate cake and we're going to have an access class at it, you know? And so it's like I couldn't have got there if I didn't really have these tools from Business Done Different. So my gratitude for this class is just like, I just want to get on the rooftops and yell out about it. And I know you're the same way, Laleh. It's just so invigorating.
Yeah. And you know what's the cool part is that we also have kids and teenagers who take this class too. And
Mhm.
that it's not age appropriate. There is no such thing. Like it's appropriate for anyone and everyone, and how they can start to utilize these pragmatic tools really to have more joy in your life, in your world, and how to utilize those things that you really enjoy to also make you money, to also create a greater future, to also create something that others can benefit from. And, I think that's the piece that a lot of times people think I'm crazy when I say you can have joy in business. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's meant to be so difficult. But no, what if it's not? What if it's like all the things you knew as a kid was really possible in life, and now how to make them shine and grow and expand. And it doesn't matter, like I have a client that we're going to be working with next year that's a multi-billion-dollar organization.
Oh,
They can
cool.
apply the tools, but a person who is like, hey, I have an idea, I want to start my business, where do I start? They can utilize the tools and everything in between. So I think sometimes people assume like the larger the organization, the more structured it has to be, the more boring it has to be, the more the cookie cutter, instead of the creativity, which actually invites the staff to actually be more engaged and to allow the products, the services, the way that they engage with their clients to expand.
I love that. One example I have of that is my daughter has used the access consciousness tools with business pretty much without realizing it, and she has lemonade stands. This
Ooh,
was last summer's thing. She did lemonade stands and she would do them like once a week and she would make like I don't know, 100 to $120 at her lemonade stand, maybe one time $140. And then she wanted to do it with her best friend because her best friend wanted to make money. So she's like, well, let's do a lemonade stand. So they went to her neighborhood and people weren't buying in that neighborhood as much. So totally unprompted, the girls got a wagon and they went door to door, knocking on doors, selling lemonade and cookies that they had made. And they're like 13. The confidence. And one of the neighbor ladies said, you know, your daughters, to my friend and I, your daughters were so sweet and professional and kind. Like, what a gift and what confidence they had. And I was just like, wow, the tools work. From 13-year-olds selling lemonade to your billionaire clients, $1 billion business, and everything in between. The tools work.
yeah. And but look at the beauty of that. It's like they never looked at I'm gonna fail or this isn't gonna work. They went from the hey, let's try something different.
Yes. And
Oh,
the first lady was angry with them and shut the door in their face. And they were like, "Oh," and then they just went to the next
love that.
door.
I love that. I love that. Well, I want to talk about something else in addition to this. So if you guys are curious about this, you can message me or Julia. And we also have a link we'll add here so that you guys know the upcoming Business Done Different class. One is with Simone Milicis coming up on the 23rd. It'll be online. There's a couple hundred people already registered for the online as well as in person in Marseille. But also I want to invite you guys to that next step. The next step is actually to become a Joy of Business certified facilitator. And some of you are like, I don't even know what that is. So this is where I'd love to like sprinkle the seeds as well. Because for me, from the minute I was 7 years old, I was telling my dad how to run his business. Like for me, business has been in my blood and ready to
Really?
rock and
Wow,
roll.
Laleh.
I have loved business my whole entire life. And one of the things that I realized is that so often there's a misconception of what business is. And when you start to do it to what's fun for you and then empowering others. So would like to invite you guys to, if you're curious about it, also message us. And that training's coming up on the 27th. There's a lot more you need to do than a Business Done Different to obviously be the facilitator of this. You do have to become a certified facilitator of access consciousness. And then you can also take the classes and the training to become a Joy of Business certified facilitator. But one thing that I love is we're all around the world and all of us are different. Like for me, I have 35 years of different kinds of experience with different businesses, industries, and things of that sort. But you have people who are doctors, who are lawyers, like you have such a mix of people. You have stay-at-home moms who really are one of the most, I would say, creative entrepreneurs, And so like you've got such a great mix of people around the world. And we would love to have your energy and your enthusiasm added to people that are empowering others to have more joy in their lives and their business too.
I love that. That's amazing. What a gift. There's just such different ways of doing things and it's like business has just been just almost like a word that the last thing we would associate it with it is joy or fun, but we really would like to create a different world where everybody can thrive. Business can be a really, really beautiful thing when everyone can thrive. And one gift that my mom gave me when I was a kid was just that she said, figure out what you would do for free and then go out and do it and get paid for it. And that's what I've always done. And that is the joy of business and be willing to get paid for your services and be willing to invent new things and thrive and look at how you can take the things that are so easy for you and put them into something that's really going to work and really going to make your life a greater place.
And the one thing it's not is A through Z plan of how you do it, because that's the part that I love. I think most of us don't want anyone telling us A to Z what to do. But we want pragmatic tools. We want different different maybe questions to get the creativity juices going,
Mhm.
or different ways that ignites us and our enthusiasm. So if you're looking more for that, then come explore and yeah, see what that might be able to be having a different kind of business in your world.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Laleh, and thank you everybody who's listening to this now and in the future.
Yeah, definitely. See you guys soon. Bye, everyone.